Mr. Speaker, I rise in opposition to H.R. 359, a bill summarily repealing our system of public funding for presidential elections. The process by which this bill has been brought to the floor, no hearings, no committee consideration, no markup, no deliberation, is the opposite of responsible legislating. It contradicts everything the Republican majority committed to a mere 3 weeks ago. The process is atrocious. The substance is worse. This repeal bill would destroy one of the proudest and most successful examples of reform that followed the Watergate scandal. Have we forgotten what the Watergate scandal was about? The committee to re-elect the president, fueled by huge quantities of corporate cash, paying for criminal acts, otherwise subverting the American electoral system. The hallmark of the Federal Election Campaign Act of 1974, enacted in response to Watergate at a time when public confidence in the government was dangerously low, the hallmark was our voluntary program of public financing for presidential elections. To this day, this innovative reform stands as the flagship of public financing systems used in the United States and one of the greatest steps we've taken to bring transparency and accountability to our electoral system. The Supreme Court, in affirming the constitutionality of the system, noted its basic purposes, and I quote, "To reduce the deleterious influence of large contributions on our political system, to facilitate communication by candidates with the electorate, and to free candidates from the rigors of fundraising." Presidential public financing has worked remarkably well, being utilized in the general election by every Republican and Democratic presidential nominee from 1976 through 2004, and by John McCain in 2008. Although in recent years the need for modernization has become evident. Perhaps the best example of the program's success is President Ronald Reagan, who participated in the presidential public financing system in all three of his presidential campaigns, 1976, 1980, 1984. In his 1976 primary campaign, Reagan had less than $44,000 in campaign money at the end of January 76, while his opponent, incumbent President Ford, had 15 times more cash on hand. The $1 million in public funds that Reagan received in January, the $1.2 million that he received in February, were essential in allowing him to continue his campaign. Reagan was once again short of cash at the end of March and was allowed to continue as a result of a diffusion of public money which matched small private contributions. This illuminates one way that public financing has worked in both parties. It has often benefited candidates who challenge the party establishment. In later elections, due to his broad base of supporters throughout the nation, Reagan was able to capitalize on his small donor fundraising capacity to accrue substantial amounts of public money. In fact, even in '84, when he was seeking re-election without significant opposition in his own party, President Reagan raised about 60% of his campaign funds from small donors, and as a result received $9.7 million in matching funds. This was the maximum amount of public money a primary candidate could receive in accordance with the law at that time, and to this date, President Reagan is the only candidate ever to reach that public funding primary campaign maximum. My colleagues, the Reagan case is merely illustrative of the positive effects that public financing has had in both parties, at both the primary and general election stages. It also highlights the system's focus on small donations rather than big bucks from large contributors. This is no free ride. This is no willy-nilly spending program. All primary candidates must seek the support of thousands of small donors, and only then do they receive matching public funds. Today, one could wish not for this Republican juggernaut, flying in the face of the positive history of this program, flying in the face of prior Republican support, flying in the face of responsible legislating, one could wish for a bipartisan effort to repair the system, to restore its effectiveness. I don't know of any policy challenge that exemplifies the maxim, mend it, don't end it, better than this one. Yesterday, Congressman Van Hollen and I reintroduced a bill, H.R. 414, that would do just that, and the White House has cooperated in formulating this bill. It would modernize the presidential public financing system and again make it an attractive and viable option for presidential candidates. Our bill would bring available funds into line with the increased cost of campaigns, adjust the program to the front-loaded primary calendar, and enhance the role of small donors further. It also would remove public funding of political conventions, as their roles indeed have changed since the system was first instated. This bill has been carefully designed. It deserves deliberation and debate through the normal committee process in this body. At a time when confidence in government is low, assumptions of government corruption are high, why is the new majority trying to return us to the dark days that preceded Watergate? Why would we even want to contemplate such a thing? Let's instead restore and improve our public financing system and move on to real solutions to put our nation's house in order.